What's going on, people? It's Nick Atkin on SCMP MMA, and I'm joined by the venerable JHK in the middle there, and Leaping Leon Jennings over on the right. What's up, guys? We're here to break down and talk about one on TNT2's ratings, all the reaction from the show. First of all, Leon, what's going on, man?
Good, all good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we good. JHK, I've got to throw it to you. Just checking in with my boys first.
It's been a busy morning, man. Before this podcast, I just did an interview with Zhang Wei Li's coach, so that should be coming out pretty soon. And Anthony Pettis also spoke with him, so look for those in the next 24 hours to drop. And now we're here with the Cambodian King and Slick Nick Atkin.
Exactly, and the hoe. Can't forget
the hoe.
The hoe.
It's not the hoe. It's the hoe. That's what you gotta say it like
that. Hello, Alan Bones Jones in the chat. Hope you all had a wonderful day yesterday. It was a long day. Ended up doing about 16 hours of work, all told, as we normally do on these fight nights. But yeah, the ratings, it's a good number, guys. I was not expecting this. I'm gonna bring it up on screen here. 337,000 viewers for one on TNT2 average, 0.11 in the 18 to 49 demo. That is a huge increase on last week's 196,000 viewers, which is a 0.08 in the demo. So, whoa, what do we put this down to, guys? I think the main factor is AEW, All Elite Wrestling, which is the lead-in for one on TNT. Their number jumped up to 1.2 million from about 700 or 800,000 viewers the week before. I think primarily you put that down to NXT, WWE's show, which used to run head-to-head with AEW on Wednesdays. WWE moved that to Tuesdays to kind of get their own numbers up because they realized going head-to-head wasn't a good idea because mainly they are competing for the same eyeballs. So, Leon, let's start with you. It's a pretty good number, however you slice it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're experts in the view account in
Speak
the
for
US.
Yourself.
Because we're not based US, but I think we all believe that 337 is a good number. On one hand, it doesn't really kind of make sense after last week's card not having DJ on there, Eddie Alvarez on there. But like you say, if this wrestling thing again, I don't follow wrestling, but that makes sense from all parties. If there are two wrestling shows going head to head, it's going to benefit both of them. It's benefited one championship. Also, as well, I think another little factor is there's only two fights on there. It's the average as well. So last week, you had Rod Tang on after the main event, which I wasn't happy about. If people tuned off then, that's going to affect the average. And also, I don't know if you heard, Daniel Cormier said he turned it off after Eddie Alvarez was disqualified. So there may have been other viewers that were pissed off with the disqualification and just turned it off, which obviously then affects the whole average of the whole show.
Good points. John, don't know how clued up you are on ratings and all that, but it's a huge jump, isn't it? And it's kind of even bigger than what they did for Inside the Matrix 1 last October, which was 300,000, I think. And when you consider the card, was it less? Okay.
I think it's about 220.
What, Matrix?
Inside the Matrix 1, yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, that's a huge jump. So,
yeah.
What do you make of this, John? The card, it was two fights, like Leon said. You had that good Christian Lee and Timofey Nastyukhin main event. Before that, you had Janet Todd and Annalene Hodstad. That was a fun fight. Muay Thai is always good. It's perplexing to me, given the lineup, and it wasn't promoted very heavily. Just the jump in viewership, it's crazy. I don't know. What are your thoughts, John? Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit.
Could we have had a after effect from the first event? You know, like the first event, a lot of people didn't tune in, but because of what transpired and kind of like the controversy behind Eddie Alvarez and also Mighty Mouse losing to Moraes, that allowed people to kind of get themselves kind of focused on one championship, and that actually got more viewership for the second show. I don't know, you know what I mean? Because it is confusing. Like you had Eddie Alvarez, one of the best lightweights to ever fight, and Demetrius Johnson, one of the best fighters to ever step into a cage, and it got lower numbers than Christian Lee. Is Christian Lee a bigger star than we thought? Because, you know, when you think about Christian Lee, he's not getting the numbers, right? He's a great fighter, and he's only 22 years old, which is insane to even think about. But is he going to... Is he going to... Is he a big star, Leon? That's the question I would ask you, because you probably know better than me.
There.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
I think personally, John, that's a great point you made. I think, like we were saying yesterday during the show, although there was a lot of negative talk about the one on TNT one card, there was a lot of talk. There was every major MMA website was talking about it for days, multiple articles. They say not any publicity is good publicity. So I think that is a factor. But also, I noticed as well, Christian Lee all of a sudden has over 300,000 followers on Facebook. That's a pretty healthy number, considering he's what you'd kind of call a respectful, pure martial artist who doesn't trash talk, who doesn't get that kind of audience just from being loud and obnoxious. So that's he's building up a good, healthy following, and it's purely because of his fighting. I mean, he's 22 years old, and he's pretty much clearing out the lightweight division. And this is the guy who's naturally a featherweight, or was fighting in the featherweight division up until May 2019, when he stepped up to fight Shinya and obviously won the belt. So, and he is American. He's got that, and he is obviously from Hawaiian as well as the Asian roots. So he's getting a pretty big following. And Timofey Nastyukhin also, he made a bit of a name for himself for being the guy that welcomed Eddie Alvarez to one championship by knocking him out in the first round and splitting open his eyelid.
Yeah, AEW. Yeah, AEW. Look, here are the numbers here. Jedi Goodman, thank you for.
It's almost doubled, I think, wasn't it, from last week?
No, they were about they when they debuted about a year and a half ago. They debuted with this number 1.2 million, around that, and then NXT WWE put a show head to head against them almost immediately to try and quell their growth, and then they were averaging about 800,000, 700,000, that kind of number. And this to me just screams, now that they're not head to head, AEW is going to regularly go over 1 million. It did help they had Mike Tyson on the show again. That's always going to help. And it was a good show by all accounts. So to me, I don't think it is necessarily is Christian Lee a bigger star than Eddie Alvarez, Demetrius Johnson, that kind of thing. I think it just purely, for me, looks like it's the lead-in, and they've been able to keep a bunch of people who are watching AEW to stick around for an hour. Because if you watch wrestling, literally it's a quarter of the people who watch Dynamite have stuck around for one championship. I mean, if you're presuming they all watch Dynamite. So 1 in 4, let's say, wrestling fans likes MMA. That's a reasonable assumption to make, because they're not too dissimilar. A lot of MMA fans come from watching wrestling as well, and vice versa. So I think that is the number. Purely, I'm putting it down to that. Maybe what Chris said.
Or
yeah, go ahead.
Could the people watching at home that were watching AEW Dynamite, they fell asleep with the TV on and just left the TV on, so the ratings for every show after the AEW Dynamite show was great that night. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's I wish we could see some clarity of like what was the effect, because it is confusing, man. Because when we look at the sport and we look at Eddie Alvarez and Mighty Mouse, this is the reason why One Champion just signed them, right? To kind of get a little, you know, establish themselves in the North American market. But it seems like it's not I don't know if it's not working, but it just didn't have the impact that it was supposed to have in the first show. But the second show, we saw that. So maybe the controversy was good for them. Maybe Mighty Mouse losing was good for them, and it like sparked the curiosity of a lot of the sports fans that saw all the media companies, media outlets like writing articles about what had transpired. And if it did, great for One Championship, man. And the ratings, if they stay like this, it's going to be good for them. If it gets, you know, higher and higher, even better.
Yeah, Chris pointed out
a lot of them things. A lot of with the wrestling thing that's going over. I mean, I don't follow WWE or any of them other wrestling things. So I
Don't
don't know.
lie. Don't lie.
I don't. But
You're a Macho Man fan.
Yeah, I watched it back when I was at school.
Yeah.
But then I grew up.
Yeah. Me
Just
too.
having a friendly dig there.
You know who watches wrestling between the three of us.
Yeah, but I've got no idea how many people are just going to go, oh, I'm going to watch the next program because wrestling, MMA, there's a similarity. I mean, I don't know how many people have that mentality to just watch something afterwards because it's on next or not. I mean, I don't, so I can't understand that. For me, if I want to watch something, I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to watch something just because it's on after a program I've watched.
But it makes sense. I mean, I watched WrestleMania last weekend, and then straight after that finished, they rolled into an interview with Chris Jericho on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, and I just watched it because it's immediately after. Like, oh, this is interesting to me.
But it's the same thing, isn't it? It's gone from pro wrestling to pro wrestling to
True.
MMA. Have different fan bases. I guess there's a crossover.
There is a crossover.
My question is how many people were in this middle ground that are fans of both. But I think it is a big thing because obviously it's been a big talking point and it's been a big positive, and people have said this is huge to go on a Wednesday night after AEW. So obviously it's a factor. It's just something I can't really comprehend. But then I don't understand advertising. I don't know how anyone can just see an advert and go, oh, I'm going to buy that, because my brain just doesn't work like that. But it must work for millions because advertising is like a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, I think like Cody Mayday, I hope I pronounced that right, has said in the chat, UFC Ultimate Fighter got its big start because it was scheduled right after WWE. Yeah, there is a crossover there. And I do think you point to the UFC's explosion in popularity. They took a lot of WWE's fans from the late 90s, early 2000s. I think that's why WWE lost a lot of fans. They all went to the UFC. I think there is a big crossover, yeah.
Well, I think what UFC has well done, which was so clever, they took the boxing model and then they gave it a WWE spin. They combined the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
that's what the UFC done. So obviously, I think because of that, you got a lot of boxing fans moving over, and you got a lot of WWE fans moving over, and that was obviously a very clever strategy. And I think one have done the same thing. They've taken the best bits or their bits they like about the UFC model, and then they brought their own sort of martial arts and the whole honor and respect and integrity and that side of it, and they've made their own product. So it's. Don't even know where I'm going anymore.
Well, Alan makes a good point here in the chat, saying he's surprised there's still no AEW and One Championship ads during Dynamite. Yeah, it's not a bad number when you consider
Dynamite and AEW the same thing.
Yeah, Dynamite is AEW's Wednesday night show. So AEW is the company, and then it's called Dynamite. It's like the way WWE has Raw and SmackDown. It's just the product, right? Okay. And then they also run.
Do they still have Royal Rumble?
That's WWE, and yes, they do. And I watched it.
Is Royal Rumble the one where they all go in one at a time? The last man standing is a winner.
Yeah. You are correct. You're correct. Okay. Yes, and it's great.
You know who I like in WWE? You see, like I'm from the WWF era. You know, I don't know the WWE.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm the WCW era. Like when I was a kid. You know, the Four Horsemen. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. Yeah, John, Ultimate Warrior.
That's what AEW is, basically a rebirth of WCW. It's on TNT. WCW wants on Turner Network as well. And it's got a lot of the same elements and a little WCW nostalgia, and they're running against WWE. So that's why. And yeah, it's just great for one. But I like Alan is saying, there's no adverts still. I don't see much promotion of it. They don't even tweet about it. So given the lack of promotion, I think it's a good number. And if TNT can get a hold of AEW and say, right, like you can promote one a bit more now, and we're going to promote a bit more now, maybe that number goes up to 400,000. I don't know. But without any promotion, pretty much 337,000 with 2 fights, and one of them is Muay Thai. It's a pretty good number, I think. And I'm sure one champ would be happy. Yeah.
If you look at Showtime, right, and Bellator just, partnered up with them. They've done a couple of shows, and they're already already jumped on the ball, man. They're already interviewing boxers for other events during the Bellator shows. They're doing the crossover already. I don't see why they can't do that. They do have a lot of guys they could do interviews with in the States during a wrestling show if they want to promote the wrestling. Even vice versa, right? During the One Championships, you could bring on somebody and have them talk about the fights. And because I'm pretty sure some of those AEW guys are watching fights, right? You see like Ariel interviewing wrestlers and a bunch of other guys, talking about it all the time. So, there's many different ways they could approach it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they shouldn't do that. If they don't, then it's very confusing. Like, what is the future for that partnership?
Well, like I said as well, I mean, I think we're all surprised with the good numbers. I mean, like I sort of said yesterday and last week, there's no point worrying about them. They're going to be whatever they're going to be. But I think, like what I said last week, with these good numbers, we've got 2 more cards. Next card is a fun card. You've got John Lineker main eventing, which is obviously he's a big name in the US from his UFC days. You've got Reese McLaren and Yuya Wakamatsu. They might not be big names in the US, but hopefully they'll market that well, because that's a huge top 5 flyweight bout with the winner having a good chance. The winner could face the champion next, or Demetrius Johnson next. And then you've also got Joe Wayne Parr versus Nikki Holzken, which is for the Muay Thai fans in the US, and even I think to a certain extent they've kind of got crossover names where even MMA fans are aware of them and have heard about them and will be interested. Although I think they're the main lead card. So, but I think my point from last week is TNT needs to continue this momentum. Obviously, advertising it more will help, but we need a regular slot, maybe this time every week, where they show the card from the previous Friday night. And for the weeks that there's no One Championship card the previous Friday, maybe show a classic card from the archives. Keep that momentum going. So every single Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, One Championship's on. Familiarity and regularity, they create more fans in the long term.
Yeah, make it regular, get people conditioned to that's when this is going to be on. Apparently there were some adverts, some ad reads during the main event of AEW, so I apologize. I haven't seen AEW yet this week. I was covering, obviously, the prelims from one. I was on the podcast with Leon and Chris.
You and your fake news.
Fake news? I was with you. Speaking to you. Yes.
I'm just messing. But my issue would be, obviously, if they did do the Wednesday regular slot, and on them Wednesdays they repeated the Friday night in Asia's card, that's 5 days delay, which isn't ideal. I mean, it's an ideal slot after AEW, but 5 days is a long time for the results not to slip out and people to watch, and especially as the fights are on YouTube. Although actually, I don't think, are they on YouTube in the US?
Yeah. Who's that? No, they're not. They're on Bleacher Report.
So there's that. But it'd be ideal, really, to have the repeat card as near to Friday night as possible. But ideally in a regular slot. But then AEW, they must have other slots, do they, during the week? Or do they just do one show a week?
They have one show a week on TV, but they also run a couple of shows on their YouTube channel, AEW Dark, I think, and Elevation. And then they run some pay-per-views every 3 months or so. But Dynamite is their main product. And TNT love them, honestly. They're doing great numbers. I think they're like always in the top 5 most watched shows on cable for that time slot or whatever that night. So
it was number one this week.
Yeah, and there you go. And One Championship attaching themselves to that is not a bad idea. If they can pick up anything off that, pick up a quarter of that like they did today, it's good for them. See what happens. Chris asking, what time is the Chattery interview? I will speak to Chattery this afternoon, maybe 5:30 or something like that. So hopefully have that out for you in the evening, early evening. Yeah, should be a good one, guys. Thoughts on WWE releasing Samoa Joe? Or maybe he can go to AEW, Alan, or he can join One Championship's burgeoning heavyweight division and challenge
we'll let you answer
Brandon
that question,
Vera.
Nick.
Yeah, please do. I don't know if you have thoughts on Samoa Joe, guys. Probably not. He's a very good wrestler. Okay, other questions here.
Heard of him.
One championship, losing the Martin Nguyen fight was devastating for getting more fans. Yeah, do you think if Martin had been on this card, guys, against Kim Jae-young, the number would have been even bigger or same? How did that affect it?
It's hard to say because we don't know how popular Martin is stateside, right? Of course, he trains over there, but he doesn't fight over there. I think a lot of these numbers are probably coming from Brazil too. Maybe, a lot of Brazilian fans, watching. It's perfect time for them. It's in the evening. And I believe Adriano was saying that a lot of people that wanted to watch his fight in Brazil was able to watch his fight because it was perfect time. It wasn't in the morning, like really early in the morning, anything like that. And it's it's a little tougher to wake up and watch fights, right? Compared to like you're already awake and it's the evening. So that could be something behind the higher numbers. With Martin, I don't know. It's hard to say like if he was on there. It's an incredible fight. We know that because we're over here. We've been following Martin's career. We followed Kim's career so far, and both of those guys bring it. It's violence at its best, but we have no idea if it would have impacted this card in the numbers.
Yeah, I'd say it could only have helped because it's just another big name and it's a top 5 matchup. It's a former champion. But there was also a slight chance with 3 fights in the card. The average may have popped down over the whole entire 3-fight card. But you'd think for actual eyeballs, you'd get more eyeballs on a card, adding Martin Nguyen, former champion. Also as well, he's someone else like Christian Lee. It wasn't that long ago. I think about a year ago, he only had about 50,000 followers on Facebook. He's got about 750,000 now. I imagine a lot of them are in Myanmar because he's such good friends with Hong La.
Yeah, that Myanmar juice is it's lovely. It's tasty.
But that's still a huge jump up in numbers.
They can't even get on the internet though right now. Yeah, but they're all banned from using Facebook and YouTube now with all the crazy shit going on in Myanmar. And
well, people
it's
get
a horrible situation there.
They use the VPNs, right?
Yeah, but they're getting shot in the streets and things like that. And this is going to be interesting when Hong La is fighting. Not next week, the week after. Yeah, just be interesting if he can, because he wants to use this as a platform to spread the message of what's going on in Myanmar. And good luck to him. It's a really important message. Martin, I'm sad for Martin because this was a chance for him to get a lot of eyeballs on him, maybe who don't know who he is or seen before. Expand his fan base like Christians. Chris was saying that Christian Lee had 50,000 viewers, and like Leon pointed out, he's now up to 300,000. It's a huge jump. It's a big opportunity.
You know the Facebook game though, right? You know the Facebook game, Leon. We know the Facebook game. It could be organic. It could be organic, but it could not be organic. We don't know, right? Because like I could go into Facebook right now and pay $1,000 and then have like 50 million followers.
When it comes to Christian Lee, he doesn't give a monkeys if he's got 10 followers or 10 million.
Exactly. But you don't know who's running his accounts, though. I don't think he's actually running his accounts because he's kind of, busy doing other things. So the Facebook thing, it's. I don't want to trash Facebook, but Facebook is probably becoming one of the worst platforms on the internet right now, right? With just
don't get me started on Facebook.
Just the fakeness of everything that's on Facebook, right? But I don't want to get you started, Leon, but I kind of do in a way.
Well, my Facebook page has been suspended for a week, and Facebook won't even tell me why. I said to them, I said, how would you feel if you were arrested, put in prison for 6 months, and when you ask what have I done, they won't tell you. It's like, how can you justify working like that? Like, I haven't done anything wrong. If I have, tell me and I won't do it again. We can't tell you. We can't go into it. It's a joke.
Yeah. Well, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media, you just don't know for sure if it's organic, right? You just don't know. It could be.
I get what you mean, but I think with sports persons, which I think they're normally the category they're under, I'd normally trust them. Because, I know some fighters got quite big egos, but I think most of them have got more important things to worry about. I know some of them have people managing their accounts and that, but I think actually on Twitter you can tell how many of your followers are genuine. Because I think I noticed, go back to Jedi Goodman, he every week he says how many followers the UFC main card fighters have. And I think Gastelum had he's only 60% of his genuine followers. Said, "Oh, good work, Ali."
Well, here's a good question actually from Alan again. Is it known if more live one on TNT cards will be announced after one on TNT 4? I have no information. I might ask Chatri today. Leon, have you heard any rumblings on your grapevine?
That was my question to Chatri. I sent to a couple of questions we had to send to the PR team ahead of the one on TNT 1 press conference. Is very rudely ignored. Though wasn't asked. But yeah, I'm interested.
Okay.
I think on one hand, it's difficult to plan anything, especially too far in advance in this day and age. But I'd love to know if there's an inkling whether they do plan to do it again. Again, it might evolve around the numbers, but as we've seen from yesterday's card, the numbers look promising. Do you think so? I would be surprised if they're not. It's just a matter of when.
Okay.
Yeah, the ratings is the ratings, though. You know, at the end of the day, they're cool to talk about, but I don't give a shit.
Well, we don't, but it matters when it comes to obviously TV rights and corrosion.
Oh, of course. The promotion, of course, it matters to them. But at the end of the day, like, you know what? You know me, Nick. You know me, Leon too. Like pay-per-view numbers and all this stuff is just like, I don't even believe it half the time. You know, like Nielsen ratings. Like, who gives? I want to talk about the fights. Come on, let's talk. Did you guys talk about the fights? Did you recap the show yesterday?
No, I was about to get into that. I just wanted to quickly look at this one on TNT 3 card. Like Leon said, pretty decent. 2 good fights there on the main card. Prelims look fun as well. Really fun, actually. You got
who was originally the main event for this?
John Lineker versus Stephen Lohman. The team
wasn't it Amir Ali Akbari at first?
Oh, that was originally. Then he got removed from the card. Then it was John Lineker versus Stephen Lohman.
Was Buchecha on this card too?
Yes.
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah, against.
Man, that sucks for him, man. He keeps getting his debut delayed.
Yeah.
Just sucks.
Definitely sucks. But I'm looking forward to that card. Should be a good one. We'll see how the ratings hold up. Or
wasn't Lineker supposed to fight somebody else too?
Yeah, Stephen Lohman.
Stephen Lohman,
yeah. And then Lohman, they all got COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Wayne Parr is coming back after hip replacement. That's insane. And he's fighting Nicky Holskin too. Man, what a savage, John.
MMA Muay Thai with MMA gloves as well.
Yeah, and he's kind of like the guy that invented it too. If you guys know the history of that,
enlighten us.
Yeah. Oh, you don't? He's the one who had the first promotion in Australia where they would do Muay Thai with MMA gloves inside of a cage. He's the originator of that, from what I remember, right? So, you got to give him
out here. Yeah, it's a tough fight.
Yeah, it is a very tough fight. Yeah. So Lineker, man, I feel like what is going on with Bibiano? That's the biggest question. I don't think he's done any interviews. Nobody has seen him. Nobody has talked to him. I should try to message him, but
he's based in Canada, and the Canada lockdown rules are so strict. Gyms are closed. So I'm assuming that's the reason. But then when DJ was asked about it before his fight, he was saying Bibiano just waiting for an opponent. But you'd have thought after John Lineker beat Kevin Bellingon, the -- 1 contender, that would have cemented him the title shot. But then instead he was given Stephen Lohman, who's coming out, who just left, who vacated his title in Brave to join one. And you think, obviously, if he won that, then he's definitely got to get a title shot. Now he's fighting Troy Worthen, who's probably not just outside the top 5 in the rankings. He's only lost once, and that was to Yusuf Sadalayev.
He's getting a major opportunity here, to fight Lineker after coming off a loss. And, I thought it either Lineker or even Lohman, if he would have just got a direct title shot, I would have been okay with that, because Lohman's been dominating and he's a former champ. He left the other promotion as the champ, coming in fighting Bibiano. I wouldn't be mad at that. And you know how they love the Team Lakay guys. The Philippines, they need a champion. They only have one right at the moment, who's Joshua Pascio, right? Yeah. Right. So that opportunity is right there. But they matched up Lineker versus Loman. Most likely that was a #1 contender fight. And now it's all screwed up. So Lineker, I guess he has to beat Worthen to get the next title shot. Or you never know, Loman might step in there if Lineker is hurt and fight Bibiano. And then you got the wild card. You know who's the wild card? Adriano Moraes. He's talking about moving up, right? But did he say he wanted to fight Bibiano?
No,
I don't think so, right?
He said no, Bibiano, but he just wants to fight Sadalayev, I think, get that win back because it's the only loss he's never avenged in his career.
Okay, and the thing is, another important thing about Adriano is he's a free agent right now. Did you see his last interview? He said that was his last fight on his contract, and now he's a free agent. So I think he's probably testing free agency right now, man. And he has all the chips to get paid right now. He just beat one of the greatest of all time convincingly. And now he's thinking about, okay, Bellator might throw him some money. The UFC might throw him some money. But I would like to see him in the UFC. I would like to see him at bantamweight over there. I think he'll be a good addition at bantamweight. Even flyweight, it doesn't matter.
He'd fight flyweight in the UFC. He'd cut down to 125.
Man, he'll be a dangerous flyweight. I'm just telling you right now. He's massive and skilled. And he just destroyed Mighty Mouse. So, I don't know. I hope One Championship keeps him. But I'm thinking like he's going to go where the biggest money. Because, Nick, you talked to him, right? He wasn't really getting the sponsors that he really wanted, which means he wasn't getting the type of money that he really wanted. So he probably wants to cash in, right?
Yeah, but will the UFC pay him what he's worth? One.
He just beat Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, but they may just stiff him. You know how they do things. Depends if they give him that Michael Chandler money, that Michael Chandler welcome to another champion from another organization, or do they just pretend nothing happened? If they big him up and say this guy beat our former greatest ever flyweight, we're gonna roll out the red carpet for him, we're gonna throw him against Davison Figueiredo or whatever. Sure, that might be tempting.
Leon,
but
if you could put
he loves one
yeah.
championship loves him, I have to point out, and they've treated him well. When he had a green card, he was stuck in the US for a year. They didn't strip him the title. They built this title match around him. I think there's loyalty on Adriano's part. That's just my opinion. I don't think he'll leave One Championship.
Well, Leon, how much do you think he gets paid a fight? If you could guess.
But I was going to say, it's quite brave, or maybe not brave isn't the right word, of One Championship to let him fight out his contract, knowing that his last fight's against DJ, knowing that if he beats DJ, not only is he a free agent, but he's going to have the world at his feet. I'm surprised they didn't renew the contract before that fight.
Maybe they weren't expecting.
Like Nick says, that there's loyalty there, and he was going to stay anyway. But I think a lot of it depends on who his manager is. And I mean, as we've seen, I think the bigger name of a manager you have, the more kind of hardball they play when it comes to negotiations. As for how much
who is his manager?
Good question.
I don't even know. Yeah. Someone tell us.
Yeah, I think maybe his manager's Alex Davis, maybe. Because it seems like he's the manager of a lot of the Brazilians at American Top Team.
He manages John Lineker, doesn't he?
I think so, right? So, and he's a good translator, and, he's a good manager.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm going to be watching that closely, right, to see what is the next move for Adriano. But wherever he goes, man, if he stays or if he doesn't, I'm excited for him because I think he'll get massive opportunities eventually.
He's not going to fight Lineker, though. I mean, didn't we asked him that, John, earlier this year, I think, or late last year, and he said, I'd rather have like a tag team match, me and Lineker against DJ and Bibiano. So it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games, man.
He wants to do that old school WWF.
Exactly. Maybe they can do that on AEW before one card.
Yeah, that would be fun to watch.
Here we go then. Too bad Adriano won't fight Kyoji, both teammates at ATT. Yeah.
Some of the best guys in the flyweight and bantamweight division are at AT&T with him. So a lot of the most exciting potential matchup for him, he wouldn't take. Most and also likely. As well, I mean, Davison Figueiredo, he's obviously the UFC flyweight champion. He's another fellow Brazilian. although he doesn't train at TNT. I'm not sure how he'd feel about fighting him.
That's a mobile company, isn't it?
American Top Team.
AT&T.
Did I say AT&T?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. Oh dear.
I wondered why you two started laughing. I was thinking,
Yeah. God, the giggles here.
I get name called all the time, but I'm normally quite good at initials.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. It's not just Leon. A lot of people say
yeah,
AT&T.
And I don't know even, and I'm not even in America.
You're not even American.
Yeah, AT&T is not even a thing
British,
I know about.
yeah.
And I've heard of it, obviously, but.
Well, why don't we recap or just talk about those fights then yesterday? We didn't do a recap. Let's start with the Warrior then. Christian Lee beat Timofey Nastyukhin. I'll bring it up on screen. Show a little clip. Not enough to get us a copyright strike, hopefully. Christian Lee, though, John, I'll get your thoughts. You went on the podcast with us.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge win for him. What does it do for his whole reputation, his potential legacy? He's 22 years old now, and he's taken out the top 4 contenders in his lightweight division. It's only really Eddie Alvarez left. 22. A scary proposition, this man.
Can we get his Tapology on the screen? Could you do that for us?
Yeah, all right. Let's do that.
Let's see. Let's just show the people like the greatness of Christian Lee at the age of 22. 22. What were you doing in 22? Probably in jail. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But like this guy, like he doesn't get the
I was
respect
working
that
in
he
a
deserves.
bar. Yeah.
He was working in a bar, washing people's feet. Come on. I'm just kidding. I was doing that. That's me. Anyways, I was shining shoes when I was 22 in the street corners of Hong Kong. So, you know, I've advanced in my life in the last, you know, so many years. But yeah, Christian Lee, man, much respect to Christian Lee. It almost seems like every time he goes into a fight, people doubt him. You know, don't you notice that? People are always doubting him, even though he keeps going in there, winning every fight and finishing everybody. Look at this guy, right? The only fight that was at least a little bit tough in his last, you know, in his lightweight run was the Doggy fight and the Shinya Aoki fight, the one that he won the title with. Other than that, man, he's been extremely dominant, man. Just like insane, like the level that every time he goes up and competes, he just gets better and better and better. And he's very good at that position where he's like holding the hip and just swinging ground and pound. He did it to Timofey Nastyukhin. He did it to Edward Kelly, man. Like he did it to Tokodome. Man, he's just, I don't know. Like who else can he fight? The only person that I could think that we would be interested in him fighting would be Martin to win, because Martin has beaten him twice. But I don't think Martin's going to fight him, though. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to go up to lightweight. I think Martin is focused on featherweight and dominating that division. And I like that attitude, right? And Christian's not going to drop down to featherweight again. I think his body is not going to allow him to do that anymore.
I spoke to him yesterday about that. He's walking around now about 190 pounds between fights. So he's fighting at 170. He was saying, yeah, he's saying, I'm not going to say never to featherweight, but he said, my body suits lightweight now. He says, because, well, I asked him, I said, because I think he weighed almost a kilogram under the weight limit, and he was very hydrated. So I said, are you fighting your walk-around weight? Considering he looks quite big. And he went, no. I cut down 190, but throughout my whole 10-week fighting camp, just eat well and just gradually bring it down during the fight camp.
Yeah, and another thing about him.
He's going to go up to welterweight in the next couple of fights. He said his next fight might be, he said, at welterweight for the title, or maybe the one after.
I would like to see him do that, or I would like to see, you know, if Tan Lee gets past Gary Tonin, which most likely will be the next fight for the title. If Tan Lee gets past him, or even if Gary Tonin wins, I would like to see Gary Tonin move up and fight Christian Lee. That would be an interesting stylistic matchup too, right there. And Tan Lee would be fireworks, right? Tan Lee, you've seen what he can do to anybody on the planet Earth with the striking that he brings in the power. Man, Christian Lee, he has options. It's just that people need to respect him more, man. I think like people don't respect him as much.
I think every fight he's earning his respect. Like I say, I think we'll do. I think because obviously when he fought Shinya Aoki, he was a featherweight, fighting with the goal of winning the featherweight title. The lightweight Grand Prix was going on. Shinyueki didn't want to wait for an opponent, so he called out Christian Lee. There was a little bit of I remember being in the press conference, I think in Manila when it was announced, and there was a lot of bad press about it, like why Christian Lee and why is he picking on a featherweight? And I thought it made sense because Shinyueki couldn't fight anyone else. All the top lightweights were in the Grand Prix. He stepped up, beat Shinya, and then he fought Daggy, who's a beast. Literally walked through everyone, and he beats him. I think once he beat Daggy, I think the hardcore fans really jumped on the bandwagon, and I think they probably did a bit more after the Yuri. And after beating Timofey Nastyukhin yesterday, I think he's got a huge amount of respect now. I mean, he knocked out the guy in the first round who knocked out Eddie Alvarez in the first round.
And what did he say in the post-fight? I didn't watch it, but I saw some headline about like he said that he doesn't need to fight Eddie Alvarez. Why did he say that? What was the reasoning behind that?
He said he said no. I'll preface it. He did say I think we will meet again. I mean, we will meet in the near future, but I don't feel like I need to fight him. I don't have to prove anything. I'm happy where I am now in one championship, my position and what I've done. He's putting the onus on Eddie to go and get an impressive finish over Yuri. But like Leon said, he's saying, I don't need to fight him. I can go up to welterweight. I can go challenge for that title. He's got options, he says. He's got interesting options now. And he's still pushing that narrative of maybe I'll do a cross-promotional fight. I don't think that will ever happen. But the world is at his feet, I think. That's the point. He's the champ. People got to come to him now. I mean, he doesn't go to people.
Imagine if he retired at age 25. Yeah. And just was like, I'm done. I did everything I need to do for one championship. I'll take a president role, maybe matchmaking or, athlete, management or something, man. Like, because I think that he's going to eventually like get a spot there. Like the Lee family is just tied in with one championship, right? I don't see anybody in the Lee family like fighting outside of one championship. The brand is like next to it. The Lee family could become like one of the most accomplished families in mixed martial arts history. You know what I mean? Like even surpassing the Gracies, right? If you think about it, the Gracies, they had a lot and they had a lot of influence, but man, thinking about accolades, that look at them, like and Victoria Lee's coming, and then they got the little brother coming next after him or her.
He was there in the cage yesterday, right? Adrian.
Yeah,
he looked huge. 14
usually he comes with a massive entourage. The whole family. It was only his dad Ken and his brother Adrian. But I asked him about that as well. Why about fighting Eddie? He said the reason he doesn't need to fight Eddie is because he's just knocked out the guy that knocked out Eddie, and both in first rounds. He goes, I don't need to beat Eddie. I've kind of, although the MMA maths doesn't work, but he also said to me, all Eddie needs to do, if he beats Yuri Lapicus, he's got the next title shot.
Who's Chris Lee?
That. Did I say Chris Lee?
No, that's. I think it's a shortened Christian Lee.
Oh, okay.
But do go check out Leon's interview.
I just assumed I've said something stupid.
Leon and Chris, they have a great relationship. They have a great rapport. So go check their interview out. Leon's always doing his thing over at Asian Persuasion MMA.
I really enjoy talking to Christian. He's one of my favorite fighters. I just love he's just so quietly confident, so calm, just states things by kind of matter of fact, and there's never any doubt about anything. And at 22 years old, not just to be as good as he is at fighting at 22 years old, but even I've been interviewing for years, just to be this mature and the way he deals with the media and everything at that young age, it's just crazy. It's really crazy impressive.
Yeah, I hope. You know what? I hope eventually happens, though. I hope he does leave. Once he's accomplished what he wants to accomplish, and fights other guys. You know what I mean? And maybe go to boxing like a lot of people are doing nowadays. You know what I mean? Like Christian Lee is so young and so skilled to where it's like, where will he be at the age of 30?
I think UFC would love to sign him. I can guarantee he's on UFC's radar.
Oh, of course.
I don't think he'll ever leave one championship. I can't see it.
You don't
say? I can't see it because one championship and the Lees have such a close relationship.
Yeah,
Man,
when we were in Tokyo for the first One Championship show, I remember some late nights in the lobby, and every night, Chatri was just having dinner with the Lee family, like the dad and Ken, his name. Yeah, they're tight. They're
what?
friends. Yeah, they
I
would.
thought
Well, maybe not every
why
night.
isn't
But,
Chacha having dinner with you guys?
well, now I reckon me and my new best mate. Yeah,
Damn
maybe
good
we'll have
question.
dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be going out for those
Especially your
10-pound
first question,
steaks.
mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get those
Well,
10-pound steaks for free. That's what you need to do.
exactly. But I think they are friends. They are tight. He mortgaged his company on first Angela Lee.
Yeah.
And now I was thinking about this yesterday. Is Christian becoming a bigger asset to them than Angela in terms of the legitimacy he brings of, oh, shit, this guy is actually one of the best in the world in his weight division. You don't want to compare.
Legitimacy, yes. You're right. Legitimacy, yes. But popularity and drawing eyeballs, Angela Lee is
Of course.
heads
I think
above.
he's catching up, and I think his fighting is doing the talking. But I think Angelique's got about 500,000 followers now, and I know you say you can't really judge that completely, but
Leon's talking about all these followers on social media. He's like, you should be on social media. Social media is the devil. And then now he's just like throwing numbers around.
Because you can get a rough idea of how popular a fighter is by his social media followers.
No, you get an idea of how popular they are by OnlyFans. Because there's no faking OnlyFans. Do you understand that? Because you have to pay money to follow them. What? The Cambodian king doesn't have an OnlyFans? Man, you gotta get an OnlyFans. Get on there, man. Like, people are gonna want they want to see pictures of your feet and your earlobes and all kinds of wild stuff. The middle of your back, you know what I mean? Like, it's just insane over there. Like, OnlyFans, go check it out. SCMP is gonna have an OnlyFans soon. This show will be on OnlyFans eventually.
What have you done to piss off Big Rig, John?
I guess I am, but maybe we're gonna be on OnlyFans, but there's no clothes. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna be doing this.
You said you're stealing his tweets. What's this?
Am I? I don't know. Maybe I saw his tweet and that's what triggered something in my mind. Okay, maybe Drake is a genius. So
what the only thing I know about OnlyFans is people like Paige Van Zandt. It's just that, isn't it? It's just like girls doing.
It's not just girls though. Guys are on there. Israel Adesany's on there. Like, do you think he's getting?
I've only heard like when people on Twitter put, someone's created an OnlyFans page for pervy fans.
I would never pay. To be honest with you, I would never pay in my life, and I've never paid in my life. Like, like at my age, you know what I mean. And then I got married like more than 10 years ago. So at that time, like Tinder and all those things never existed, right? So, I missed that wave, and I kind of regret it. just being transparent.
Whoa.
Diego Sanchez is on OnlyFans. Let's go check that out.
Yeah.
Nico's legs on OnlyFans. Yes, we'd have to see those for sure.
Yeah.
Kings don't sip.
How did we get onto OnlyFans? I can't remember what we were talking about.
Because we're talking about following, you know what I mean? Like popularity with the Lee family. But you know what, though? I think this is me like thinking like 5 years into the future. I think Victoria Lee will be the biggest star. The reason why is she's starting so young, and then she could create an audience of kids too to watch and like kind of lead like an army. You know what I mean? It'd be like World War Z. It'd be like World War Z, and her fans are the zombies.
Well, Christian and Angela started almost as young. I think they were barely older than 16.
But the
space. It's just the TikTok era, right? The TikTok
exactly. 5-6 years on, whatever.
And the organization is in a different place. They're so more far advanced than they were when Angela and Christian started, right?
It's true, yeah.
So I think that's going to make a huge impact.
And she's already got a head start because of her brother and sister. So I guess there's lots of factors in her favor.
You ride the wave. In the next 5 years, you know who's going to be the biggest stars for one championship? 2 names: Victoria Lee, Rug.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the biggest stars.
Gary Toden, I think his star could shine in the next 5 years.
Apparently, Jose Flores, sorry, I pronounced that right. Says looks like Rug's going to fight again in 2 weeks. Who could it be? So if they put him on that TNT 4 card,
At the moment, they're strong. It's going to be more than 6 fights on the card, isn't it? For all these fighters
Maybe
that saying they're fighting on it. I mean,
well,
potentially
maybe
you've got Eddie Alvarez on it. You've got
maybe
potentially
it's
Martin
like
Lewin on it.
there's some people who are on it, but they're going to be on the dark cards, right? So they're probably going to record a couple more shows to pump out before or after those fights, right?
They're going to be a different series, aren't they? This is a strange one because usually 2, 3, and 4 in the series are all pre-recorded, whereas this one on
Who knows?
4 is going to be live.
The numbers are good. TNT might just say, have another couple of weeks, you know.
You know
they
what?
need to plan further in advance than that. Then they already schedule months ahead.
I saw Angela Lee post like she's gonna have the baby in like a week or something. Am I right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, in the next week, dude. Like she's gonna already have the baby, and it seems like the atomweight tournament is never going to happen, but it's actually going to happen real soon in a couple of weeks, and it's like perfect timing, right? Angela Lee has the baby; she could recover by the time the tournament, the Grand Prix is over. Angela Lee will be back into form. She doesn't have to return like 6 months later. She could wait like a year because it looks like it's going to take about a year to get everything
She wants
done.
to come back in November. But that's a good point you made. The crazy thing is, who would have thought when she announced her pregnancy last September, I think, and they announced the Grand Prix, I think, October, so off the top of my head, who would have thought that she would have the baby before the Grand Prix starts?
Nobody.
But again, I think it's unfortunate. I hope they don't. I hope they make her fight the winner at the beginning of 2022 rather than November, just so they don't rush the Grand Prix to give. I think we've said this before, to give the athletes a bit of time to recover between the fights, so we don't see maybe potentially the best fighter in the Grand Prix pull out because.
Well, they say they're going to do it September, the final, man. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I would rather, like Leon says, play it out, let everyone get healthy after each fight. I don't want them to bring in a alternate, you know.
Well, the PFL's doing it. PFL has like one show, and then you fight like 6 weeks later in the next fight, and then 6 weeks later. So you're in a continuous camp, right? You fight, you go into camp right away. You fight again, you go into camp right away. If they do it like that, I don't mind. You know what I mean? If they get the title fight, like let's say by December with Angela Lee, I'll be fine with it. You know what I mean? I'll be like, all right, you guys did a great job by rushing this through.
I don't care if they do it all in one night and then Angela fights the week after, 2 weeks after having a baby.
Oh my God!
But
Are you a sadist?
No, but I mean, because I don't care. Why do I care? But I'm saying from the fighter's point of view, they don't want to be fighting maybe that often. And if they have a little niggle, fighting another 2 months later, giving him an extra month could make the difference between him staying in the tournament and pulling out. And as we saw with the flyweight and the lightweight Grand Prix, with so many fighters pull out, although DJ won and I think Christian Lee won, and obviously he's a worthy winner now, we don't know for a fact if they were the two best fighters in the Grand Prix because so many fighters pulled out.
I think that movie 50 Shades of Grey. That was about Leon.
That was about who?
That was about you. That should have been called 50 Shades of Combat or Cambodia King. That's what it should have been. Jesus Christ, you want these girls to fight in one night? And then
no, I don't want it. You said I don't mind them fighting 3 times in 4 months. I was saying, well, I don't mind.
It's not 3 times in 4 months. I said
fight
me. 6 weeks, fight 6 weeks.
I don't care, but from their point of view, they want and they want and need it. There might be 4 first-round finishes, but there could be 4 3-round wars where all 4 of them need 3 or 4 months' time to recover. Not only recover, and then train, and then go for another training camp.
Is that card on TNT? Is that card going to be like focused to the US audience?
No, that's a Friday, so it will be Asian time.
And it's live, right?
Asian evening. Yeah, live.
Oh, that's gonna be fun, dude. That's gonna be a good fight. I'll definitely be on that fight companion, dude. That's gonna be a fun one to watch. That's gonna be a great one, man. And then you got Ham coming in. A lot of pressure on her because she's basically representing 2 countries with 2 belts. And if she loses the first fight, that just like, what does that do for like the country and those promotions, right? Who does she fight first?
Denise
Denise.
Zamboanga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zamboanga, right? So if Denise Zamboanga goes in there and beats her, it's like she just crushed the whole, like, you know, it's shitty to say, but she crushed Ryzen and Road FC, right? Because that's Ham was, you know, she had both those titles and she's basically representing them. So, you know, it seems like nowadays when these fighters are coming in from other promotions, they're not having the best of luck. You know, look at Eddie, look at Mighty Mouse. You know, those are the two biggest examples, right? And Ham, she might follow in the footsteps. Who knows, right? But I'm pulling for her.
Well, I said this last week because we had the when the brackets came out, we had a podcast about that, and we all argued about how it was unfair on Denise Zamboanga to get Ham in the first round and blah blah blah. And we argued for and against it. And then I thought of another point I mentioned, I think last week, the fact that, I mean, it is a little bit unfair. She's the number one contender because she's kind of been given the favourite going into it. But on the other hand, it's a compliment to her because every big name fighter that has joined one championship has been given a real test in their first fight, almost like we're going to show the rest of the world how strong one championship is. So if Cosmo beats Sage, if Timofey Nastyukhin beats Eddie Alvarez, it just shows one championship is on a par with UFC, Ryzen, etc.
Yeah, that's another one, right? Sage getting smashed in his, you know.
Yeah, so I don't think it was done as directly as a stitch up for Denise. I think if anything, it was done to show, and even if that's Ham wins, you'd think it's going to be a tough match for both of them. Both of them are confident they're going to win. Both of them are confident they're going to win the whole thing. But on paper, they've both been given a tough first round.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's
go back to the card.
I'll ask a couple of quick questions here. Alan says, we guys have Fanatics predictions for Whittaker versus Gastelum. Yeah, hopefully find some time to do it. Maybe tomorrow if I can. Just when you have these one championship midweek shows, it tends to throw my whole week off in terms of previews for UFC as well. So I'll try and figure out a schedule for that. Leon, just a bunch of people calling you the Cambodian king here. Who you guys think won championships next big international signing, like DJ or Eddie? Off the top of my head, I don't have any.
It's impossible to say because both of them come out of left field. Is that the saying? Out of left field.
Well, the thing is, like, you have to sit back and wait, right, to see like what type of nowadays more fighters in the UFC, more fighters in Bellator, and you know, these big organizations around the world, they are testing free agency, right? So when you got a guy coming off a win, like, you know, Ham, she's coming off winning 2 titles for 2 different promotions. You sign her, that's a great signing, right? She's not coming off a loss, you know, she's not coming off bad terms or nothing like that. So when you see guys that are coming from the UFC, coming from Bellator, they're coming off wins and they're free agents, you know, it's like any other sport now. You go out there and you bid for them, right? And if you're the highest bidder, you give them the best, you know, incentives, then they're gonna sign with you. And I think that's what the world is going to in mixed martial arts now. It's like all the, like, PFL, you know, they signed Pettis after he fought out his contract. He was coming off a win. You know what I mean? Like Verdum, he was coming off a win also, and he signed with PFL. Like, it's the name of the game now. It's like, who can give the best deal? You know what I mean? A lot of these fighters are not really worried about titles anymore. They're worried about getting paid because they know that this career is not very long. So why would you go chase after a gold belt or a silver belt or a tin can belt or whatever when, you know, the money's not there? The belt, yes, it's an accolade and you could be proud of it, but it's not going to help you when you're 50 years old. You know, you could sell it, but that's about it. So you guys got to think that fighters are getting much smarter. They're getting better guidance, and the better guidance is to go where the money is and go where the matchups are, and you know, prolong your career and make money. I think making money, to be honest with you, should be the number one focus. You know what I mean? Like in any other job, most jobs, people are trying to get the most money for their job, right? Whatever position they are in, right? Because when you're looking at prospects, you want to take the best job possible or a place where you can advance or, you know, and make money. So I think MMA is going to be the same, and just like any other sport, right?
I think with the growth of one championship, Bellator, PFL, for example, it's creating more competition between the promotions, which will hopefully create better paid fighters. I don't think we're seeing it yet. We're still seeing a lot of complaints about the bottom guys of the promotion, how much money they're getting paid. But I mean, I think it'd all be great if we had a union, if we had the Muhammad Ali came over from boxing, where fighters had more rights, more, you know what I mean? At the moment, the promotions have all the control, particularly probably the UFC. They monopolize the contracts and make it very difficult for fighters. Well, I think, I don't want to pick on UFC, probably all promotions, they make it very difficult. If you want to leave, you can't. If they want you to leave, you're kicked out, you're removed from your contract. It's very promotion heavy favoritism.
Hey, maybe Misha Tate will be the next big signing for one. She fights out that contract in UFC or gets cut there. Who knows? But also, I just want to say, I know that One Championship pushed hard to get Anthony Pettis. They sent Ben Askren after him. So One was very interested in Showtime Pettis. So they
PFL have that $1 million prize money, which is such a big lure, especially for someone like Anthony Pettis, who is, again, you don't want to sort of put UFC, make a pinnacle of UFC too much, but he's a competitive fighter in the UFC. Someone like him moving over to PFL, he's going to be very confident, especially confident of winning that 2021 tournament and winning $1 million.
Maybe he still could go to One. Who knows?
Well, the thing is with Pettis, and I talked to him today, and I asked him about that, and he said that one thing about the PFL is they will allow him to go box when the season's over. I mean, this is something that he's been talking with, his management and stuff about. And I don't think One Championship would allow him to do that, right? I don't think any other organization would allow him to do that at all. And that's what's confusing about Eddie Alvarez. Like Eddie Alvarez coming out talking about he's going to fight Oscar De La Hoya, and I'm just like, what? So we'll get clarity on that when Nick interviews Chatri later today, right?
Yes,
the only thing that happens if Eddie maybe fights on April 28th on One on TNT 4, like he's kind of insinuated the years, and Christian told me he wants to fight again towards the end of the year, although Eddie doesn't know that. Eddie thinks he's going to take time off because he's having a baby in the next couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. He was saying, while I have that space, maybe I can have a boxing. It wouldn't really, because if he fights Lapicus, we don't know if he's fighting Lapicus, but if he fights Lapicus again in 2 weeks, beats him, he's got the next title shot. And if that's not for another 6 months, that gives him a little bit of a window, maybe.
Well, boxing De La Hoya, and if One gets their branding all over that, and Chatri can insert himself into that, like the way Dana did with Floyd and Conor, that maybe not a bad thing for them to do to get some eyeballs on.
Well, Triller, man, Triller is doing good work, man. Like they're creating a huge. They got Justin Bieber, dude. Like, has any promotion has ever gotten Justin Bieber to come out? I guarantee you, he at least cost like 6 figures.
Well, I can guarantee that I'm not tuning in to watch him or any of the other singers.
Well, you look like an older Justin Bieber.
I tell you, it's common. He's a good-looking boy, but that last Triller event, Jesus, I haven't tuned in to listen to rap. Like I was thinking, has it not crossed your mind that not everyone watching likes rap? It's like rap's quite a niche market.
What are you talking about? Rap is like mainstream as it gets nowadays with the kids. He's not targeting you, the old guy in the middle of Malaysia, making secret visits to Cambodia. They're targeting the 18 to 25-year-old bracket.
Yeah, but even when I was 18, 25, I still didn't have a lot of time for rap music.
What do you listen to? Classical music or what's going on?
We had this conversation every week, didn't we? I mean, to like pop music, like the Beatles, the Who, Oasis.
Oh my God, you're living in like a time machine. What's going on?
Kasabian.
No, I know. Those are good bands, right? I'm not gonna lie about it. I listen to those bands sometimes too. But just they're catering to the younger audience, right? That's what they're doing. So Leon, if you don't watch, I don't think they care if you don't watch. They want the kids.
I'm only tuning in for the main event. I'm hoping it doesn't clash with the UFC.
It is clashing with the UFC. I think it's going on at the same time. Pavarotti.
Pavarotti. Oh, I love a bit of classical music.
What about Yo-Yo Ma?
Who? What would you say about my mum?
Yo-Yo Ma.
What would you say about my mother?
Yo-Yo
Oh, my
Ma, dude. Like that's like OG right there. What about Michael Bolton? Hey,
Oh yeah, Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton. I can see Leon with the long curls. I don't know why. He looked like he used to have long curls back in the day.
Nah, silly.
No. All right, all right. So let's get
I don't
back
mind a
to
bit of Pavarotti, though. Don't mind a bit of classical music. Like the classical music like you hear on adverts and that, like the Beethoven's and the Fifth Symphonies. I was listening to that the other day, actually. Just for the first time in years, I've put on some classical music on YouTube on the telly. It's amazing how it is that like how beautiful and genius.
I listen to all my music on YouTube now. It seems like YouTube has everything.
That's what I pretty much do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I listen to music on my YouTube on the telly all day now.
Yeah, it's great. And then you got these compilations and stuff.
Get YouTube Music app. It's better than Spotify, and you get it free with YouTube Premium. So it's $50 Hong Kong a month, about £5. It's better than Spotify, cheaper than
I
Spotify.
didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, do it, man.
I get adverts because you get adverts all the time. It goes, sign up for
No, but-
premium.
Yeah, Premium is good. You get no ads. You can
It's
listen
worth
to
it.
it with in the background on your
You can
app.
always
I have it.
after 5 seconds. It's only annoying if you're in the shower and like you get.
But they're
10
also
minutes
much
advert
louder.
couple.
So I would do that. I put music on, I'd be in the shower or whatever, and then the advert would be like bah, really loud. So you'd have to run out of the shower, like turn it down because you're like, oh, the neighbors are gonna kill me. So
That's
the
a video
adverts are
for
like 2 minutes.
for OnlyFans right there.
Yeah, that's OnlyFans. Okay, something about Triller co-promoting. Would they go in with one? I don't know.
Nah, I don't think Triller would promote with anybody. I think Triller is just the monster on its own. They just bought Fight TV. They bought the whole company, the whole app. That's why now you got the Triller Fight Club. You know, Askren versus Paul. You could buy it on Fight TV now. I think it only costs like $20 or something like that, around there. So it's not that expensive. And you got Frank Mir fighting on it too. You got a bunch of fights on there. I'm gonna watch it. I'm actually doing a fight companion. Or not a fight companion, but like a hangout. So with James during that show. So we'll see.
Yep, Sepulot is testifying about how good YouTube Music is. I swear they haven't paid me to big them up. A couple other quick questions I wanted to get. Do you guys know how long Sage is out for? Asks Tristan. He had lingering COVID effects. We've seen how that's messed up Hamzat Hamayev, so could be a while. I don't know. Leon, you had anything?
No, hopefully not long. I think he's probably a bit more sensible than Hamzat. He's probably, or maybe not. He's obsessed with training, isn't it? I think from the look of it, from Hamzat, he obviously just didn't rest when his lungs were compromised. And if he just rested for a couple of weeks, maybe he probably would. I don't know for certain, but there's a good chance he might have recovered very quickly. But I think he just tried to push his way through it. Sort of that typical athlete mentality. And that obviously just really badly affected his health.
Quickly as well, Victoria Lee, who do you think they can put her up against next? Asks Zaza Kita without pushing her too fast.
There's quite a few names in that.
Rika. You put her against Rika.
Yeah, Tiny Dog, let her go and murder Tiny Dog. But
Rika just lost to the girl, Sinisa Sarai, who Victoria beat in her pro.
Well, I
so
think
it makes sense on paper, but I think that one haters would criticize it, going, "Why have you given her a fighter that just lost to the girl she
I don't
beat?"
think that matters though, because she's just starting out her career, right? She should be
but
fighting the bottom of the barrel, right, in the division.
I'm saying from the haters' point of view, that just gives them something to moan about, doesn't it?
Well, is that what you think?
Being you, and I think would be a bit too strong for a next fight.
But stylistic wise, it's actually pretty good for Victoria.
Stylistic wise, yeah. But I think Killer Bee's that next level up in that atomweight division. I think maybe she needs a few more.
She's like the mid level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rika would be a good one.
Yeah.
But who knows if she's even fighting?
Well, I think she teased a retirement after her last loss, but then I think she changed her mind. Although she does a lot of skateboarding now.
Yeah, she's a skater now. She's a TikTok skater. You know how that works.
Who's a skateboarder? Victoria Lee.
No,
Oh.
Rika.
Rika. Okay, there we go. It's
There's a few, I
confused
think
there.
maybe
Rika Shige, Killer B, have her fight sub
Angeli,
500
Sabanov,
fighters.
Antonia, Norsray, Pov. They'd be quite good there. That
I don't really even know who's at the bottom of that division, to be honest with you. Like, I could only think of Rika because she's someone that's been like in our vision for a long time, and then she's had a rough run lately. So that's the only reason. But there's must be a bunch of other girls. Like, even bring back Trinidad, right? Let maybe fight her.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Again, she was a model, and
Yeah.
then she switched over to MMA, and then she hasn't fought since. I'm just thinking she thought, posing in front of the camera, getting punched in the face.
Yeah, and she got punched in the face badly, right, in her fight. It was a massacre. So
Yeah.
Victoria Lee, I think she should just fight anybody that's available at the bottom of the division and just build up the career, build up the confidence, get more ring time. I think that's most important for her. I don't think you should just think like, oh, we have to put her at the next level. We don't need to rush her because she has time.
I think, yeah,
Well,
give
I
her
think
one of the kind of bottom, the don't want to say weaker, but the least stronger atom weights. The next at least 1 or 2 fights.
but it's the Lee family, I figure, is now going to be focused, taking a break because there's 2 babies coming this week or next week. Christian's baby, Angela's baby. So
is he taking time off too, Christian, for his baby?
yeah, and you think if Victoria has a fight, Christian is going to play a huge part in that camp. So I don't think it's going to be anytime very soon. Victoria's going to fight. Probably
Well, she wants to fight a lot this year, she told me, but obviously, like you say, Christian. But then Christian just doesn't want to fight camp. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be spending all day every day at home. He's in the gym all day every day. He's going to spend a bit of time with his newborn daughter, but I'm sure he'll be more than willing to help Victoria out in a fight camp because I guess she wants to fight as soon as possible.
Man, I think Victoria's bigger than Angela, though.
No,
she's going to be. She's going to be.
She's not Victoria. She's not bigger. She very comfortably made the atomweight limit. She came in underweight and very hydrated for her debut.
Yeah, so she's like, how old is she? She's like 16.
Angela has a real struggle to get down to atomweight, and it'll be interesting to see how well she gets down to atomweight after having a baby. But then she might go down the Mackenzie Dern route, who struggled big time to make weight before she had her baby, and then since then she's just looked lean. She's made weight comfortably.
I've talked to her a few times since then, and and she's just, the focus is different. When she was like single, she didn't have a kid, she was out there doing things maybe she shouldn't have, but now it's like her responsibilities have become her priority, right? And then now, man, we're seeing the best of her and just continued growth. And she's very close to the title now with the win against Ansarov last time. Not even Ansarov, sorry, Nunez. That's her new name, right?
Yeah. Couple of things here. Was Christian 20 when he won the belt? I think so. April 2019, was it? You were there, weren't you?
His 21st birthday.
His best mate for Christian, so he should know.
Exactly.
He's gonna be at the wedding.
MMA Island also asking about Moraes. So we chatted a little bit about that earlier, so maybe
I wouldn't mind.
Wouldn't mind, yeah. But I think he's going to stay in 1.
Yeah.
Let's just show this bloody. We got so sidetracked, but yeah, here's the knockout from Christian Lee, TKO. So.
I think you should take the sound off just in case.
Yeah, okay. Don't want that copyright.
Because we don't need to hear the sound anyways.
Yeah. Excellent stuff, Christian.
Jesus. Just mauled him, right? Just mauled him. And those are some power shots, too, from that position right there. He's very good at that position, ground and pound. Very accurate.
It's crazy how much weight he's put on. The fact he's walking around now.
Look at him. He's gigantic.
Over the middleweight limit in one championship.
Man, that counter left hook was like right on the button, man. His striking is looking better and better too. Man, I did not expect that against Timofey Nastyukhin though, man. Just Timothy was just too wild, I guess. He was just too eager, just running in there. And Christian
I
was
want to
perfect.
see him fight Daggy again, because when he fought Daggy the first time, he came in on less than 2 weeks' notice. So he hadn't really had a proper camp. Daggy was under the weather. When I spoke to him about 5 days before the fight, he said he'd been in bed ill the last week. And they both gassed out in the first 2 minutes. And they both pretty much collapsed. I think Daggy did collapse at the end of it. Christian threw up at the end of it. I'd love to see them both go back at it at 100%.
What about this one? We haven't talked about this fight, have we, guys? Janet Todd and Anne-Line Hogstad. This was 3rd round liver kick TKO. Folded her in half. Look at this.
Why?
Boom.
Why did he call the fight off?
She couldn't stand up.
Well,
She just stood up.
She wanted
Right
to
there.
carry on. I think it may have been slightly early because look, she looked up, she was ready, and then he waved it off.
Ah, man, I don't like that.
You don't recover from those, man.
I know, but still, though, like you got to give them a fighting chance.
It would have just been rudimentary, I think. Elementary. What word am I looking for?
Whenever I hear the name Janet Todd, I just remember the movie Sweeney Todd. I don't know why, but I've never even seen that movie before. It just comes to my mind all the time.
Sweeney Todd, he's the hairdresser and he kills his clients, like back in London in the olden days.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So yeah.
But where does Janet Todd go from here, man? She's got to fight for the title, right? She just beat the number 3 girl.
Well,
I think
the champion's out pregnant.
Yeah, but if
is she?
Stamp, yes, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Because I've seen pictures of her on Instagram. She's in a bikini and everything. Doesn't look pregnant at all.
I know, but she's pregnant. Yeah, so she's
out.
out.
Is she? Okay.
The only fights that make sense for her is defend her kickboxing title against Anissa Mexon, which she said she's keen to do. When I spoke to her, and I had a fun interview with her and Jackie Bunton together before she fought. But that'd be fun. But she wants to fight Stamp as well for the interim Muay Thai title. But Stamp wants to concentrate on MMA this year. Although
Yeah,
again,
she's in the middle of the GP.
She would consider a one Super Series bout if there was a title on the line. Otherwise, she's just going to concentrate on the Grand Prix.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
but if Stamp
that
loses, I think you could
Yeah.
see Stamp and then Janet fight for an
Exactly.
interim title.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait till May
that's what I was
28th.
thinking too.
But maybe
there's-
in the meantime, give her Anissa Mexon. She's fought twice in Muay Thai now. She won the kickboxing title about 15 months ago now. Obviously, she couldn't compete after that because of COVID. But give her Anissa Mexon needs to make her one debut. She signed with the promotion, I think, over a year ago. She still hasn't competed yet.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
a big name in kickboxing. That'd be a huge fight. That'd be massive.
Yeah, and she's been like publicly like open about like not getting fights, right, on social media.
Yeah, and
I've
Raphael, I
seen
think, sort of have a Tiger
Her
Muay Thai
coach.
teammate. He's campaigned for her to get her debut on social media as well.
What was the is this the controversy thing right here?
Yeah,
Let's
let's
it
talk
wasn't
about
that
this.
controversial, really.
Did he kick him?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he kicked him in the head on the ground.
Okay, just a split second, not thinking.
What are you not thinking about in that position? You know, like you're laying down.
He's not thinking anything, any sense, is he?
Man, he just gave that guy the win too.
He apologized after.
I think Yoshiki Nagahara was winning the fight in my book. He had dominated round 1 apart from the end. He got wobbled and he was dominating round 2. I don't know. I don't think. And also, by the way, there were about 5 seconds left in the round.
Do you think he got frustrated because he just couldn't do anything and he's just laying on the ground with him?
Like Peter Light says, he said it was an accident.
No, that doesn't look like
he
an
had
accident.
to like spin out fast and that created the momentum. But
No, because he looked like he torqued the leg towards his head. Like
and when he stands up,
snapped
he
it.
knows it. Like
Yeah. He's boom, look at that. It's not like he was trying to swing across, you know what I mean? Like he would have done it differently.
Shine Zoltsetseg. It's a shame. He's a really fun fighter. He's obviously the guy who.
This is the only pick I got wrong on the night. I got every pick right except for this one because this dude DQ'd himself.
Yeah.
You're
Same, I
never
think.
going to forgive him, are you, John?
Huh?
You're never
Never
going to
gonna-
forgive him.
Yeah, I'm not. But I'm still gonna pick him next time.
But it's funny because Nakahara got heel hooked by Tonin in 55 seconds, right? A couple of
Yeah.
years ago. So he was looking for that heel hook there. He looked like he was much more comfortable on the ground. So he's obviously been working on that in the time away. Because he's no joke either. And Tonin made light work of him, you know what I mean? So
Hey, where is Chris ranked in the picks on Fanatics?
for this event or for the whole month?
No,
or
just
what?
the whole thing. Because I've picked almost every show, right? Like every fight. Like
I'm loading up the app.
UFC 1, Bellator, I picked everyone. So like I've picked pretty much almost like 50 fights so far this month.
But we don't have Bellator in our group, I don't think.
Oh, you don't? Oh, on my group, I have
Yeah.
Bellator 1, all of them. Like I put all of them on there. But
I
yeah,
might
where
add
am I
the others
ranked?
in. You are number 2
Oh, am I?
behind Moose.
Yeah,
And then
Moose is good.
Diraj is number 4. Michael Owens 5th. One Championship UK is 5th as well.
Yeah,
tied with
where
Chris
is the
Brown.
professional Chris though? Like this guy talking about he's so good at making picks, and I haven't seen him in even the top 10. Is he in the top 10?
Scrolling down.
And I know
scrolling
Chris is
down.
there. I know Chris is listening.
Miggs is 16th. Tristan 11th.
Oh, Chris is tied with me.
Chris
How
is
are you tied
18th.
with me? And
He's
how is he
18th.
18th?
Yeah, I'm a lot lower down, man. I can't say anything.
Yeah,
I
you
haven't
don't
seen
even make your
myself.
picks. You're making your picks on like, okay, this guy looks all right. I like him.
I'm here to have fun. I'm not here to win.
Exactly. I see.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not talking shit to you because I understand your picks, though. You know, your picks are just like, I interviewed him.
Yeah,
He seems like a nice guy. You
He had a
know?
good walkout song. I'll pick him.
yeah.
You know?
Also,
So,
I rely on you guys to help me make my picks, and if we don't do
yeah,
previews, I kind of
I
have to
think you
guess
should just
myself.
pick my
I like that.
picks. You should probably just pick my picks, man. Most of the
Yeah,
time.
I don't. I'm not in the top 100, so I have to keep scrolling.
But the thing about picks is you could have a good month and the next month you could be trash. You know what I mean? So gloat while you can, right? Because the next month you might be just eating piles of trash, right? And you know what would be
Busy.
funny if I did win and I got my own shirt. You know, like
Yeah.
if I win, I will give away the shirt to somebody. Like I will do like a contest on this, like a fight competitor, and be like, hey, you know, we're gonna do a contest on something, and then I'll give away the T-shirt, and I'll have the Fanatics guy send it to them.
I can see why One Championship gets so many big numbers because Nick just plays their videos on a loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
Second red card in 2
one
weeks,
funny
though,
thing
guys.
about that clip there is last time the Shine Man fought, Olivia Cost was the referee, and he won through a heel lock. No, he knocked out his opponent. I think it was Gia Warmer, and he put Olivia Cost into a heel lock. Do you remember that fight in Bangkok?
Yeah.
It was
Crazy.
January before.
Yeah, he's box office. I mean,
So yeah, you can
he lost
guarantee
his
you
mouth
are.
guard here. You are. Hopefully he gets back in there soon. I think this was the other one we just wanted to show quickly. Beautiful finish, wasn't it? The elbow. Mitch Chilson was losing his mind again.
Look at this steps.
We've had a couple of those recently. Mark Abelardo, didn't he? Against Emilio.
Kim has become a major disappointment, dude, in One Championship. He's been knocked out a bunch of times, dude, and he was like a pretty highly touted. I think him moving to Evolve was the worst thing for him. Because ever since he went to Evolve, he's lost all his fights. All of them. I think he's like 0-4 in One Championship.
He's a 6-foot flyweight as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's taller than Moraes.
Yeah, he's a big
Considerably.
flyweight. I don't know. Something's got to change with this guy, man. He's just like, I remember watching him on the regional scene, like watching him fight in Korea, and he was a killer, man. And I was like, this guy's gonna be incredible, especially being 6 foot tall at flyweight. And then now after he went to Evolve, everything changed, man. Like he's just getting jacked. He's getting jacked by everybody, just smashed, and it's just like It's just,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not
like
sure.
there's guys that you see on the regional scene, you think, oh, this guy's gonna be a killer. He's gonna go to the big show and he's gonna do great, and then flops like this. But then there's certain guys on the regional scene, they're just like 50-50, and then they get to the big show and they're just incredible. They just like fight to the level of the competition.
To a
Man, this
certain
is one of those
extent,
cases.
we could do with more fighters fighting at Evolve at the moment, though, and in Singapore, just for the fact that every card in Singapore, and it just gives more backup options and more last minute options, just from that aspect.
Yeah, Wang Shuo, great finish there. What was the other fight? Shuya Kamikubo going 5-0 with the second round submission of Mitchell.
I didn't realise, Mitchell, Mama's boy, he hadn't fought for over 5 years. So I think he's got a 7-2 record, which isn't bad. And not only did he step up on about 2 days' notice, he hadn't fought for years.
Yeah, that was the easiest pick of the night right there, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fun card. Always
Kamikubo
fun.
as well is on a good run as well.
Exactly.
He was supposed to fight John Lineker, I think, wasn't he? No, not John Lineker. Troy Worthen. Before Troy Worthen stepped up to... And that was two fighters just outside the top 5 in the rankings.
Here's a good question. Maybe we finish with this before I have to get out of here. Does One Championship have pound for pound rankings? If so, they do not. Who are your top 5 pound for pound athletes in one?
Kim, who we just saw, there lose, would be probably my number 1.
Yeah. For me, you've got, I don't know what order they're in. If you're talking men, Christian, Adriano, Bibiano, DJ.
No, I think Bibiano's probably number 1 though.
Yeah, no order. DJ's still in there for me, and then obviously Tan Lei, maybe. I don't know.
What about Ung? Would you?
If we're talking top 10, I'd have him kind of 6th or 7th, that kind of Martin as well.
Yeah.
I think Christian has separated himself from the pack and Adriano recently, so he's joined Bibiano in that top 3 for me, and then maybe there's a mixture. I don't know. You've got a bunch of other people who could be in there.
I've had Martin in my top 5 months ago. Was now they're probably just they're still in the top 10.
Yeah.
And they're potentially 1 or 2 fights away from being back in the top 5 again.
Yeah, we were meant to do an article with our prediction of our top 10. They kind of fell by the wayside. I might revive that now. Well, maybe we could just do it.
Christian Lee was actually my number 1.
Yeah, you picked ahead of time there. Mystic
DJ
Leon.
was 2 at the time. I think Moraes might have been 3. But...
I don't remember what I wrote down. I have no idea.
I've got my name, actually.
That was so long ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my notes out here.
I don't have no notes. I think I just send it to you and then I erased it.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe I have it. I don't know for sure, but yeah. I think the top 5 for me in One Championship is Kim, and Kim. Those are the top 5.
My notes are a mess. One top 20. Here you go. I had DJ, Bibiano, Christian Lee, Tan Lei, Adriano, Josh Pazio, John Lineker, Derrida, Martin, Onglar was my top 10. Then Angela 11, Panda Eddie, Shinya, Abasov, Bellingon, Tonin, Nastyukhin, Dagi, Nakashima. Yeah, so I don't know.
Oh, I found it.
Found it.
Okay, my list is number 1, Bibiano, Christian number 2, Adriano number 3, Ung number 4. And this was before like all the other fights, right? Like when they lost and stuff like that.
This is in December we done it, didn't we?
Yeah, it was. I think this was after the Tan Lee fight. Yeah, after Tan Lee and Ung and all them fought, right? So I still had Ung number 4 because he was reigning 2 divisions. He just had lost the thing, so I feel like he was still pound for pound a little bit higher. Yeah, that's about it. I had Demetrius at number 8.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think I did. Where is it? I had him at number 2. Behind Christian Lee. and next to Bibiani Fernandez.
You know who I had at number 20? Lapicus.
Oh,
Did you? I had Eddie Alvarez number 20.
Where
Danny
did I
King
have
at
Eddie
19,
Alvarez?
Tsuyoki 18, Gary Tony 17, Nastyukhin 16, Daggy 15, Nakashima 14, John Lineker 13.
I didn't even have Eddie in the top 20.
He just snuck in.
I had like
Well-
Lineker at 15, Zamboanga at 16. I don't know.
I'm gonna
These,
revive
these
this.
guys.
I'm gonna revive this thing and maybe make it a monthly. We'll update it every month, perhaps. Have it on the website. Bit of fun, isn't it?
Kinda.
Yeah. Maybe not every month. Half of
Every
them
5
don't.
years, we'll update it.
All right. Well, I've got to get out of here, so maybe we'll call it a day. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John. Thank you, Leon. What's coming up? What do you got coming up, Leon?
Not a lot, I think. I've got Reece McLaren fighting on TNT 3. My interview's up on him on the website and on YouTube. Got Christian Lee exclusive yesterday, which you better go and watch. It took me 2.5 hours to edit. After, I got sent it. The first half was just Christian, and the second half was both of us. So I had to re-record all my questions separately, edit them all in. So that was fun. That was a good, fun interview. Other than that, got a few other interviews lined up, but I'll keep under my hat for now.
Keep it under wraps. JHK, what have you got? You gave us a little taster earlier. What's to expect? But anything else?
Anthony Pettis, Zhang Weili's coach,
Oh yeah, I'm
and then
interested to
a
see that.
bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. How was your chat with Frank Mir?
Oh, that was good. Frank Mir's always good, man. He's one of the best. Like, remember we talked about him like during one of the shows we did, right? About Frank Mir, yeah. And I asked him all that stuff. I asked him about commentating, and he doesn't mince words. He'll just say what he feels. So it's always good talking to him, and pretty easy guy to interview, actually.
All right. Well, I've got Chatri a bit later today, as I mentioned. I got some others I'm lining up for next week as well. SCMP never stops, does it, guys? Keep rolling. One on TNT 3 next week. We'll be back for sure.
Us
Maybe
three never stop, really, do we? We're like the Duracell bunnies.
Yeah. I mean, where's Drake? Where's Big Rig? Haven't seen him in a while. Maybe he did your show though, didn't he, John? Yeah, on yesterday.
Yeah, him and Mike Heck.
I've got one classical question, John. Why are you still doing your show on a Thursday morning?
Because that's when it's happening. Why?
I know, but surely you'd rearrange it. Like you rearranged it when it was a clash with the UFC.
I didn't.
You cancelled it 1 week because it clashed.
Yeah, I canceled it, but I'm not going to cancel it 4 weeks in a row.
Could you not do it a different day just for the month of April?
No.
It's a bit crazy, though, to go for an MMA show that clashes with a big MMA event, and on the same channel that's also got Fight Companion. There's probably fans out there going, "Oh, I want to watch both."
Yeah.
You can watch both.
Live.
Dual screen.
Because you've got to watch the fights live, but then if you watch yours later on, you can't join in and ask questions.
I think most people that are watching the show that I'm doing, they're not like one championship followers, really. It's because we don't really talk about one championship so much.
Some of the billions of potential one championship viewers there you're stealing.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
2.5 billion potential.
Yeah, but I was thinking about it. I was thinking like, should I do it on Friday morning instead?
You should do,
but then Bellator's on, I think on or PFL starts soon, and I don't know. I just keep it on the same date. If you watch it, if you don't, I just do it because it's fun, man. I get to talk to like other members of the media and bring two of them together and just chat about stuff, and it's almost just like a fun thing to do for me. It's not really like something that I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta, grow it and stuff like that, because I don't know. I just enjoy it. Sometimes you gotta do things you just enjoy, right? Just like this, I just enjoy it.
I know, but you could enjoy it on a Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning, possibly, yeah. But there's only 2 more TNT shows though, or 1 more.
2 more.
2 more, right? So, I'm not gonna switch it up. I like my slot.
Yeah.
Who's JK? Who's JKG? Just
I
keep
don't know.
running on. Just keep.
WMMA scene now. It was difficult going back and forth. So you do have some fans here, John. I don't know. I don't want to make you change your slot. Maybe if one on TNT becomes a regular thing, maybe. But I don't know. You do your thing. Wednesday
Maybe
night.
maybe I'll switch it to Friday. Maybe I'm thinking about permanently switching it to Friday morning, just because like I do a show on Wednesday night, and then I gotta wake up in Thursday morning and do another show. So I'm like, maybe I should switch it up. It all depends. I'm thinking about maybe next month I'll do it like that. Just do it on Friday mornings. See what happens.
Yes, some of the diehards in this chat, they love both shows, but we were having a bit of fun with it. It was the ratings war. I was checking the numbers. We got more concurrent viewers. If you wanna, it's like WWE versus WCW, AEW versus NXT. It's the real ratings war. JHK, what do you think about Leon wanting to fight Dan Tom in Circus?
What? You want to fight Dan Tom?
I don't think he does.
I say a lot of rubbish on these shows in between my amazing, brilliant MMA theories and thoughts and crazy things. But at no point did I even mention the name Dan Tom. I did get grilled about a million questions just there about where would I want to fight in Circus. I didn't really give any answers. I certainly didn't mention any names, Christopher.
Chris just stirring the pot there.
Christopher E.B. No, I think I did see someone in the comments yesterday say Dan Tom, he's a former fighter, isn't he?
He's had a professional fight, yeah.
My answer was, who would I want to fight in the media? I went, well, what female members of the media are there? Maybe maybe the smallest female member of media I can find. I'll take them on. Maybe bit of mud wrestling.
No, I want you against Tom Taylor.
Yes.
Tom Taylor with the boxing training.
In oil.
Yeah.
That's on OnlyFans.
Yeah. All right, I do have to get out of here. I've got to.
All right, let's get out of here.
Work. So thanks everyone for watching. See you again. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I might do something. Definitely, we can do some kind of UFC recap on Sunday, I think. Otherwise, I think we're going to have Chevello on Tuesday for a podcast, one of these, just to talk shit about the TNT cards. So
what, Chevello?
Yeah, you up for that?
Good night, Irene.
Yeah, I'm going to bring him in, talk a little bit.
Good
about
morning, Vietnam. I don't even know why he doesn't throw that in eventually. I mean, like, why does he throw that in? Come on, Michael Chevello. We're going to have to ask him when he comes on.
Leon's best mate as well. So
yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to have him for a whole podcast, not just an interview. So that should be fun.
Yeah,
I can preview the one card maybe. Although he's seen it, so maybe that's not. Maybe I'll put it the week after. Anyway, thank you all. Yep. See you next time.
Cool. Take it easy.